Hey everybody, welcome to episode 53 of the Hey Everybody podcast. I am Christopher Gold. I'm feeling frazzled today. I got a lot going on, as evidenced by the fact you might be able to tell my hair might still be a little wet. I just got out of the shower. It's like 1:30 in the afternoon. Been a busy day. It was a busy weekend and it's been a busy day. We have a lot going on here, stuff I'll be able to tell you about some other time. For now, I'm going to shoot this and then run out the door and go do some stuff. I hope you guys have been well. I played some shows this weekend. I played a house show on Friday and a full band festival show on Sunday. They were both wonderful. Again, there's lots of opportunities to come see me and the band play if you want to. You can check my website for dates. And if you're interested in even talking about a house show or asking how it might work or that kind of thing, email me, Christopher@ChristopherGold.com. I know a lot of people have not ever been to a house show or hosted a house show, but as of Friday, I can tell you I'm batting 1,000. 100% of the time, they have been wonderful and, dare I say, special. They are wholly unique amongst every other kind of show that I do, band, solo, whatever. And they are completely unique even amongst themselves because the audience becomes involved at a certain point, and we always stick around, my family and I, for sometimes hours afterwards, talking and getting to know people and making new friends and that kind of thing. And there's never a set list or anything. So if you see me at a house show, you're really seeing a once-in-a-lifetime sort of interactive, very connected thing. And I love them. And I wish I could do 100 a year. So hit me up. And we'll sort everything out. The time, the date, the money, the whatever. I just really believe in these. And the more I do them, the more I feel like I'm being told I should do them. So the more the better. Back to the podcast. I've been thinking a lot about when I would attend church as a kid. I grew up going to church, mostly like a Baptist church. And though my belief system has changed dramatically and to the point that I probably could not find a church that could house my belief system. There's things about it that I love. I still love just the cadence of it, the way a preacher would talk. I do an impersonation from time to time around the house or on stage, and it's fun. I think a lot of what I do on stage with the band is from church as a kid, and trying to get people to feel what you're feeling and even act on a thing that you're telling them or encouraging them to act on. The difference is you probably won't go to hell if you don't dance at my show. But do you want to take that risk? I don't, it might just be safer to dance. And I still, to this day, if I'm driving alone, especially late at night, I'll find one of those radio stations that has a preacher on, and I just like the sound of it. I often object to the content of it, but I just love the rhythm of it and the roll of it, and it's great. The other thing I don't know how much I liked it at the time, but something I've been thinking about is they would often do like a series. Like for the next month, we're going to talk about this and a different element of it every Sunday, and we're going to build to this bigger lesson or reveal or idea or epiphany or whatever. And I've been thinking about the last 2 episodes of this podcast. And if you recall, last week we talked about how, for the most part, I believe politicians are not only not for you, but they are benefiting from the division between you and the people around you. Because if they can divide you from the people around you and your family and your friends, you guys won't be getting together to talk about the things that affect you all and the things that don't affect you but that are egregious and you should be dealing with or helping to deal with. They like you divided. And it keeps them in power, and it makes them a bunch of money. And there's all these industries popping up around this concept that are also making money. We talked about the mugs and the hats and the shirts and the I lose my patience with these people. And then the week before that, we talked about social media and how we might try to have more empathy and just realize what is being done to all of us by social media, and how that knowledge has to, if we're being righteous and fair, it has to inform the way we talk to people we disagree with, because these multinational tech conglomerates are spending billions of dollars trying to make us angry and afraid. So when we meet someone who's angry and afraid, we can't just immediately, if we're being fair, disregard the fact that they're a victim of this system. And as I say those things out loud now, both those episodes kind of sound like a drag. I hope that they weren't. But I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about this week, and I realized I've sort of accidentally done a 3-parter that we're about to bring home right now, much the way they did when I was a kid. And it's funny how that stuff that is just happening around you sort of becomes part of what you do and how you do it and that kind of thing. I have no doubt that much of my performance, or even the way that I talk, or all kinds of things, were informed by my church-going youth. So today, now that we've decided that most industries are out to get us, but we should still be empathetic, but we can't trust politicians because, again, they're almost part of an industry unto themselves. It starts to feel like, well, what do we have left if the social media tech companies are out to get us, and the merchandise mugs companies are out to get us, and the news is out to get us, and the politicians are out to get us, or at least just sort of almost harvest us in sort of like, not a totally dystopian Soylent Green kind of way, but we are our farms that they water with fear and anger and despair, and then they harvest our support and our money. Ooh. I don't plan any of this, so sometimes stuff comes out and I was like, oh, that was heavy. Heavy-handed, maybe. So I want to tell you this story, because I'm also going to take away charity from you today. Sort of. Stick around. It's coming back. A couple years ago, Tori and I donated money to a charity. Now, for us, it was what I would call a sacrificial amount of money. It was a chunk of money based on the amount of money that we have. For other people, it might have been a small amount. For this organization, it might have been a small amount. But we felt it was the right thing to do, so we did it. We slept better. Hallelujah. This organization has since proceeded to spend hundreds of dollars, sending us things in the mail to try to get us to send them more money. They spent, I wouldn't be surprised if they spent 5 to 10 times what we gave them to try to get more from us. And I understand charities have to do these kind of things, but in a world where it can be done almost for free with email and social media and that kind of thing, I felt very, again, I don't want to be over dramatic. I don't want to use the word betrayed, but in a way I did. I felt like I believed in this organization and I wanted to help them. And they essentially turned down my help and then tried to use me to generate more money, which I don't have to give. And it felt like I'd essentially paid this organization to send me junk mail, which also, as an environmentalist, I resent. All this paper being shipped on planes back and forth. It's terrible. So I'm talking to my dad about it, and he said, yeah, I've had that same experience, that you'll donate some money, and then it just becomes about getting more, which they spend a bunch of money doing. And this is where it feels like I'm telling you not to give to charity, which I'm not, because I believe in empathy. Empathy is very near the top of my list of, if we could just get this thing down, what would the world look like? It would change overnight if we could just all dial in real, genuine empathy. So what I've come up with instead is always do what feels right. Give to charity if you feel like, no, the right thing to do is for me to write this check and send it off. And I hope that goes well for you. I really, truly do. For me, having had this experience a couple of times now, I've realized that given my limited finances in the first place, and given my displeasure with how my donation is handled, this is not permission for me to no longer be charitable. It becomes a responsibility to take the place in my small circle, in my little corner of the world, of this larger organization. And this is where the idea of the toy drive comes from. If you don't know, I do a toy drive every year to help children that are spending the holidays in a domestic abuse shelter. This is where I take very seriously where my clothes come from, because I'm very concerned about sweatshops and not wanting to participate in that area, you know. I've recently started trying to be much more mindful about the meat that I eat and the moral, ethical implications of vegetarianism and veganism are a very long conversation for several other days. My drummer is a vegetarian, and we have had dozens of really interesting talks back and forth about what we think and that kind of thing. But what's undeniable is that factory farming and the amount of meat we're raising is damaging the environment. And again, I can't claim to be an environmentalist or to care about the environment and disregard that because I like bacon. So what I've been doing is, bacon's a great example. They'll say like, hey, you want bacon on that? And if you like bacon, you go, yeah. But if you stop and think, you go like, how much is that really adding to your experience versus what are you sort of taking away from the world to do it? I used to get my pizza with pepperoni and pineapple. And don't you dare come at me saying pineapple doesn't belong on a pizza. Pizza is a joy delivery system. So you put on it whatever you want. You know what's real good on a pizza? Sweet corn. Get hip to it. I just love when people are like, oh, that's the wrong way to eat pizza. Like, bro, there's not a wrong way to eat pizza. You're the wrong way to eat pizza. Let's have some coffee. So I was getting my pizza with pepperoni and pineapple on it. And I realized the pepperoni was not really what I was coming to the party for. So I ordered it with just pineapple, and it was great. Tasted almost the exact same, and it was great. And it felt a little bit lighter and less greasy, and it was awesome. So now I don't get pepperoni on my pizza anymore. And then there's a couple dishes at home that we make, that my wife makes. Come on. I can't cook. I make wicked biscuits, but I can't cook anything else. That we started figuring out like the meatless version, like the plant-based version of a protein to put in this thing. And it tastes great and it tastes better. So I'm not a vegetarian, but I've started doing like meatless Mondays and that kind of thing. And I've heard from several sources that if everybody just didn't eat meat one day a week, the impact that would have on the environment would be huge. And I'm starting to realize that the most effective way that we can contribute and change things is in our behaviors. You know, we can put on an event, and that's one end of like the personal scale. And on the other end, we can maybe be a little more intentional about when and where we buy our clothes, or what we're eating, or, that kind of thing. Maybe we can be a little more intentional about, do I need a new phone every year? Like, because my old one, where's that going to end up? In the ocean or something? And it can't be good for the environment to be cranking out the amount of phones that we're cranking out just because people want them. So I think to bring it all home and in sort of wrap this all up in a nice little package these last 3 weeks, I just think we have to accept that help is probably not going to come from far off. We have to accept that the help that's going to come might already be here. It might be you. It might be me. If there's a need to be met, we might need to meet it. If there's a change to be made, it might be a change that we have to make ourselves in our thinking, in our behavior, in our speech. I had a great conversation with my bass player about how we're both just trying to not be so negative, trying to talk about bands we like rather than bands we don't, because let's not kid ourselves. It's juicy to get together and go like, oh, did you see, you got to hear this song I just heard, it's terrible. And that's no good. That's not the life I want to live. It's not the space I want to create for myself and my family and my friends and my people and that kind of thing. And again, at the end of the day, I think, like so many other things, like maybe everything, it comes back to empathy. It comes back to, if I let myself honestly feel what it would be like, or try to feel what it would be like, to be a single woman in a domestic abuse shelter over the holidays with a kid, or if I let myself think about what it would feel like to be that kid, I personally cannot bear the thought of inaction, because I've really allowed myself to feel something here, and I just can't sit still. I can't not do something about it. And I think if we're honest with ourselves, we'll all find something. I have friends that are much more proactive than I am about their feelings about the environment, or about their feelings about poverty, or about their feelings about sweatshops, or any number of things. And when I kind of quiet myself and really listen, something inside me says, like, you got to do something about these kids that are suffering as a result of domestic abuse. And I think if everyone was real honest about what they felt called to change or try to change, there's enough of us that we would all go out in different directions and everything would get better. I think one of the traps we fall into is thinking, this is my cause and everybody needs to get on board. But the reality is that if everyone got on board with one cause, unless it was to save the whales, no one would save the whales. If everyone got on board with the cause of environmentalism, homelessness would not get addressed. So I guess I would encourage people to stop looking around at politicians and companies and social media and that kind of thing, and stop critiquing and criticizing, or maybe just take a break, or take a break from your anger and really ask yourself honestly, what action am I taking? Is there an action to be taken? I played a big, loud rock and roll show yesterday. And on the surface, and my expectation was, that's what it will be. It will be a big, loud rock and roll show. And my wife estimates that there were about 1,000 people there. It was an outdoor festival thing. Me and my band are playing. And I don't want to give too much of this away because I don't want to paint myself in a light I shouldn't be painted. But there was a little kid there who is living a different kind of life than me with a different set of challenges. And he was having a blast. And he was dancing. And he was having a great time. And by the end of the show, he was up on stage. And we were all sharing this joyous moment. He and I are clapping together. He's dancing, I'm dancing. We're just having a good time. And afterwards, I got to meet him, and I got to meet some of his family, and And I realized that by just being open to the possibility that this could be more than just a big, loud, fun rock and roll show, me and my band, we got to give this kid what I think was a pretty good day. And we got to do it in front of a lot of people that hopefully did not leave going, those guys are so sweet. What a nice group of guys. Hopefully they're leaving there going, that was life affirming and wonderful, and I want to experience more of that, and I want to do some of that. I want my life to be more than just my life. I want it to be a force for good and change and that kind of thing. And it's the same reason the toy drive that I do has gotten bigger, but it's stayed pretty small. And I tell people every year, the reason the toy drive is small is because if it's small, I don't need anyone's permission. The first several years, I did it without anybody's help. And the point is, in addition to raising this money and collecting these toys and helping these women and helping these kids, the other point is to show people you don't need to wait. You don't need an organization or some big national thing or a politician. You don't need nobody. You need an idea and a little bit of heart and a little bit of go for it. And just do it. And I tell people all the time, like, I say on stage at the toy drive every year, if something's important to you and you want to do an event, do an event. Raise some money, raise some awareness. I will come play for you. I just feel deeply we have to do more and be more than just, this is me going through life doing what I feel like doing. And the upside is you can still do what you feel like doing. I love playing music. It's short of my wife and my son and my family, it's the thing that like makes me feel alive and like a human. And I have found if I'm even open to the possibility that my music can be more than just my music, it often becomes more than just my music or my show or my good time or my whatever, my job. I played my house show on Friday and met a few people that cried and shared things with me that were profound and deep, and again, imposter syndrome and feelings like I shouldn't get the credit for this and I shouldn't be responsible for this because it's just me doing what I would do. That's a conversation for another day too. But the reality is, anytime I listen to myself and do what I think I'm supposed to do and stay open to like the idea that what I'm doing could be more than what I'm doing, bigger things happen. And I hope that can be true for all of us. I hope none of us limit ourselves to thinking, oh, I'm just a musician, I'm just a teacher, I'm just a whatever. I mean, teacher's a bad example because if there's a more important job, you can make an argument that there might not be. My point is just, you don't know the impact you could have on the world and the people around you if you just sort of just stay open to the possibility that like, maybe I don't need to just be angry about this. Maybe I don't need to just be despairing about this. Maybe I need to call some of my friends, ask if they'll come play some songs, find a place to do it, bring my own PA, and put on a toy drive. Maybe I need to back off the meat a little bit, so at least I feel like I'm doing something. Maybe I need to try to buy my clothes secondhand, so I'm not so directly contributing to a system that I don't like. And be joyful about it. My big loud rock and roll show and my house shows and every kind of show is still joyful and fun. And I think we're sold this notion that we can't be the thing that makes the change, that we need bigger, better people around us. And we're sold this notion that like, for something to be good, it has to be solemn. For something to really be affecting change, it has to be serious and hard and intentional. And anyone who's come to the toy drive knows it's fun. Anyone who was at the show yesterday, that festival show with my band, knows we had a blast. And we had more fun because a little bit of good that was deeper than just, hey, we're a rock and roll band, watch me flip my hair and then give me some money. Something bigger than that happened, and it was great. So, I hope that made sense. I hope any of this makes sense. I don't know. Like I said, I'm frazzled. We got big doings going on here in the Gold household, let me tell you. All right. Let me come play in your living room. Let me talk to your friends. Let me get to know you guys and share some songs and some stories. It'll be great. And let your life be as big as it's meant to be. And let your passions and ambitions be as big as they're meant to be. And just be good, you know? Go to bed at night feeling like I was good today. I was a force for good today. Even if it's just I treated that barista with some dignity and really cared when I said, how's your day going? And that kind of thing, you know? Because the politicians aren't going to do that for us. And the companies aren't going to do that for us. Corporations aren't going to do that for us. And our divisive political merch is not going to do it for us. Because at the end of the day, that stuff's all just bullshit that they're using to try to take from us our connection and our unity and our joy and our money and our loyalty. And our loyalty should be to each other and to the world around us. So, that's the end of my rambles. Real quick, fast. Please listen to this record. This record is called Fade Away Diamond Time by a gentleman named Neal Casal, who we unfortunately lost to suicide a few years back. I love this record. It's the only one I'm going to recommend to you today because I've been listening to it a lot lately. I just recently found it on vinyl. And I want you to listen to it. I love it. It makes me feel so good. And it's great. A little bit twangy, a little bit melodic, sort of 60s, 70s throwback American music. You get a lot of lap steels and pedal steels and twangy guitars and organs, but it's not country music. It's wonderful, and I hope you'll listen to it. Check out the song Maybe California by Neal Casal and enjoy it. I think you will. I really, really, really love this record. I really love you guys, and I hope to see you soon. We got shows, lots of shows, solo shows, band shows, house shows, and we're always booking more. So check ChristopherGold.com. Email me personally at Christopher@ChristopherGold.com. Thank you for listening. This is all just stuff I'm working out myself, and I figure if I work it out in front of a GoPro, it might be of some benefit to someone else. I don't know if it ever is. Sometimes it is, but I don't know if this will be. But it helps me to talk about things and write about things and keep them in the front of my mind instead of the back of my mind. So get in touch and let's set up some house shows and come see us play somewhere. It'll be fun. I promise. There you go. Take care of yourself. Take care of somebody else. I gotta go. I'm frazzled and busy. Bye.